Good morning, students. Sai Ram. Today we are going to study an English grammar. The topic: phrase, clause, and sentence. This will be done in two parts. But before I start, I want you to be ready with a pen and notebook, wherein you can jot down the important points told by me. Let's start. What is the difference between sentence, clause, and phrase? Children, you have already studied what is a phrase. We'll revise phrases and go on with clauses and sentence. Let's revise. Here you can see words, phrases, clauses, and sentences. So word class you have studied, that is noun, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, verb. All these are words, word class. And then you have studied phrases. So two or more words forms phrase. And then clauses, it is again a group of words which have subject and verb. And then the sentence, it is also like the clause. Let us study more about it. Let us start with sentence. Now, what is a sentence? Sentence is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate and makes complete sense by itself. And predicate contains the verb in a sentence. Now let us see this example given. The guest arrived. What is the subject in this sentence? The guest. And what is the verb? Arrived. So it is a sentence. Then the next sentence, let us see. Meera went home. What is the subject? Meera. And verb? Went. So went home is predicate. So what is a predicate? The part of a sentence or clause which contains a verb and it states something about the subject. So here it tells about Meera. What does it tell? That she went home. So what do you understand? That a predicate contains the verb and other words which tells about the subject. Now let us understand what is a clause. Clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate and forms part of a sentence and makes complete sense by itself. Let us understand with the help of an example. I expect that I shall get a prize. Here in this sentence we find that there are two clauses. How? I expect. Where is the verb? Expect. And in the second part, shall get. That means there are two clauses. So in that first part, we find what is the subject? I. And predicate? Expect. And the second part, what is the subject? I. And then shall get a prize is the predicate. Now we'll learn more about the clause afterwards. So let us see what is a phrase. A phrase is a group of words that does not consist of a subject and a verb. Some of the examples are given. On the table, at the door. What do you find? These are group of words which have some sense but not complete sense. What do you find? There is no subject and there is no verb. So you have to understand the difference. So what is the difference between a phrase, clause and sentence? Phrase doesn't have a subject or a verb, but clause has a subject and a verb, and sentence also has a subject and a verb which has complete sense. So now let us understand with the help of the table given what is the difference between phrase, clause and sentence. So what is a phrase? It's a meaningful group of words. Clause is also a meaningful group of words. Sentence, it is also a meaningful group of words. Phrase does not make complete sense by itself. It is only a group of words which makes some sense but not complete sense. Clause may or may not depend on something else for complete meaning. And sentence, it expresses a complete thought. So this are the difference. Then the next is it has no subject or predicate. Phrase does not have a subject or predicate, no verb. But clause has a subject and a predicate. Sentence also has a subject and a predicate. Then what are the difference? Phrase has no finite verb. Already you have studied what is finite. Okay? And clause has a finite verb. And sentence also has a finite verb. Finite verb we have already studied, with changes with the person and number. So now that you have studied what is a phrase, let us find out the phrases in this sentences. The phrases are given in bold letters. The sun rises in the east. My house is near the mosque. A beggar stood at my door. Show me how to do it. The roofs of the houses were covered with snow. So, the phrases are given in bold letters. In the first sentence, in the east, only a group of words which gives you some meaning. Near the mosque, at my door. How to do it? Of the houses. These are the phrases. Why these bold letters are phrases? Because they don't have subject or verb. There are many kinds of phrases. You have studied last year noun phrase, adjective phrase, adverb phrase. Let us revise with the help of some of the examples of these phrases. What is a noun phrase? One which does the work of a noun. That means a phrase that does the work of a noun is a noun phrase. Now see this example. How to do this is a difficult question. It answers the question what. Now how will you get the answer? What is a difficult question? How to do this is a difficult question. Now children, remember, for noun you should ask the question what. Whenever you ask the question what, you get answer, means it is noun. So same goes with noun phrase. So here what will you ask? What is a difficult question? How to do this is a difficult question. Next, adjective phrase. One which does the work of an adjective. That means the phrase which does the work of an adjective is adjective phrase. Let us see the example. A boy with blue eyes met me yesterday. Answer the question which. Now which boy? A boy with blue eyes. Which boy? With blue eyes. So here with blue eyes is a phrase. It is describing the boy. So it is doing the work of an adjective. So the phrase which does the work of an adjective is adjective phrase. With blue eyes is adjective phrase. Next we have adverb phrase. One which does the work of an adverb. The phrase which does the work of an adverb is adverb phrase. Let us see the example. He shouted at the top of his voice. So, how did he shout? It answers the question how. How did he shout? He shouted at the top of his voice. So, adverb phrase means the phrase which does the work of an adverb. Adds to the verb or modifies the verb. So, in order to understand adverb, you must be knowing which are the words, which are the question words, WH words you have to ask. How, when, why, where. So, here which question word you will ask? How. How did he shout? He shouted at the top of his voice. Now that you have studied the phrases, let us identify the phrases in the following sentences. He wore a turban made of silk. Now here what will you understand? Here made of silk is a phrase. What type of turban it is? It is made of silk. That means what this phrase is doing? It is doing the work of an adjective. So it is adjective phrase. And then the next sentence. How to do this is a difficult question. So what will you ask? Which question will you ask to get this answer or to get this phrase? What is a difficult question? So when you ask what is the type? It is noun phrase. He is coming at this very moment. So where is the phrase? At this very moment. Now how will you get this answer? How will you understand? What is the type of phrase here? He is coming when? When is he coming? So you are asking the question when. That means it is adverb phrase. He is coming at this moment. When is he coming? He is coming at this moment. Let us move on to clause. This is the house where we live. Here, this sentence consists of two clauses. This is the house. Main clause. Where we live? Subordinate clause. Clause resembles a complete sentence, yet not a complete sentence, only a part of a sentence. So what is the definition? Such a group of words as forms part of a sentence and contains a subject and a predicate is called a clause. So what have we seen? That clause is a part of a sentence which has a subject and predicate. It is like a sentence. So which are the two kinds of clauses? Main clause or independent clause, subordinate clause or dependent clause. What do you mean by main clause or principal clause or independent clause? When the clause is used as the main part of a sentence, it is called as main clause. Subordinate clause means when a clause is used not as the main part of a sentence, it is called as subordinate clause. That means the main clause or the independent clause can stand on its own, and the subordinate clause will always be dependent on the main clause. It cannot stand on its own. So you have to find out which is the main clause and which is the subordinate clause. It doesn't mean that main clause will always be the first. You have to understand the sentence. In the sentence, which clause can stand on its own will be main clause and which cannot will be subordinate clause. So let us find out with the help of the example. Now identify the clauses. I do not remember what he said. Now divide the sentence into two. I do not remember and is the first part. What he said is the second part. Now which one will be main clause? I do not remember can stand on its own. It has complete meaning. But when you divide it, what he said cannot stand on its own. It is not complete. So that means it is subordinate clause. In the next sentence, why he left is a mystery. Again divide the sentence into two. Why he left is a mystery. Now what is a mystery? Why he left. Okay, so you ask the question what is a mystery? Why he left. So why he left cannot stand on its own. It is a subordinate clause, and or instead of that you can write it is a mystery. Okay, so you can replace with it. So it can be it is a mystery is a main clause. So here in this sentence, what do you find? Why he left is written at first, but then also it is dependent on the main clause. Okay, so it is a subordinate clause. So what have we seen in the previous example? That an independent clause or a main clause is that which can stand alone, and that is it expresses a complete thought. And a dependent clause is also called as a subordinate clause, is one that cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. That is, it does not express a complete thought. Two clauses are joined by subordinating conjunction or coordinating conjunction. Let us study about coordinating conjunction. He is poor yet honest. Here there are two clauses and it is joined by yet. He is poor and yet he is honest. They are of equal rank. That means they are both main clauses. So here both main clauses are joined by the coordinator yet. You will study more about the coordinators later on, like fanboys. I'll tell you later on about this. Coordinating conjunction you have learnt. Now let us see what is subordinating conjunction. You are free to do whatever you like. Divide this sentence into two clauses. You are free to do, main clause, and whatever you like, subordinate clause. How do you understand this subordinate clause? Because it is dependent clause and it is introduced by the subordinating conjunction whatever. In a coordinated clause, you have all the fanboys, and in subordinate clause, you have the subordinate clause introduced by subordinating conjunction. More you will study later on. Now let's start with noun clause. What is a noun clause? Noun clause is a dependent clause that acts as a noun. As you have seen in noun phrase, the phrase that acts as a noun is noun phrase. Same way here also a clause. Remember, a clause, that means here it is a dependent clause that acts as a noun is noun clause. Now noun clauses begin with these words. These are all subordinating conjunction. This introduces the noun clause. Remember this. How, that, what, whatever, when, where, whether, which, whichever, who, whoever, whom, whomever, and why. Some of these subordinating conjunctions are also used in adverb clauses. Don't get confused. You have to understand how it is used. Now let us see the noun clause and its function. What does the noun clause function as? Let us see the first function of the noun clause. It acts as the subject of the verb. Example sentence. What he said was true. Now divide the sentence into two clauses. It was true. You can replace it. You can replace the subject as it. It was true. And subordinate clauses, what he said. What was true? What he said was true. So what he said is a noun clause. It is introduced by the subordinating conjunction what. Now this clause also consists of subject he and verb said. As in the main clause also, we have, it is understood that the subject is it and verb is was. So predicate will be was true. It was true. It was true will be the main clause and subordinate clause will be what he said. Since this what he said comes in the place of subject, it is said to be subject of the verb. Now which verb? Verb was in the main clause. Understood? So, what he said is a noun clause which acts as a subject of the verb was in the main clause. The next function of the noun clause, the object of a verb. On the weekends, we can do whatever we want. Where is the main clause? On the weekends, we can do. What can we do? Whatever we want. So, where is the noun clause? Whatever we want. So, here in this clause, there is the subject we and verb want. And it comes in the place of object of the verb can do. That is why it functions as the object of the verb can do in the main clause. The next function of noun clause, object of a participle. Participle you have already studied. Discovering that it was right, I jumped with joy. Now, where is the main clause? Discovering, I jumped with joy. Discovering what? I jumped with joy. The answer you get is that it was right. So, where is the main clause? Discovering, I jumped with joy, and subordinate clause or noun clause, that it was right. Now, it comes in the place of object. It is coming after the participle discovering. So, that is why it is called as object of the participle. So, here object of the participle discovering. Next function, noun clause as the object of a preposition. He was thinking of what his teacher has said. Find out the main clause. He was thinking of that. You have to understand. Subordinate clause, what his teacher has said. It is introduced by the subordinating conjunction what. He was thinking of what? What his teacher has said. So, what his teacher has said is noun clause. It is in the place of object and it is the object of the preposition of in the main clause. So, main clause ends with of. He was thinking of. So, it is the object of the preposition of. My brain is focused on how many minutes will pass before lunch. So, main clause, my brain is focused on that. Okay. So, here on what you ask the question, you get the clause. How many minutes will pass before lunch? So, it is the object of the preposition on in the main clause. Next sentence, I like to think about how noun clauses make me a better writer. Here, main clause, I like to think about. It ends with preposition about. So, about what? How noun clauses make me a better writer. This is the noun clause, but it is an object of preposition about in the main clause. Next function of noun clause, object of an infinitive. Infinitive we have already studied, children. To and verb. So, next sentence let us see. Bunty wants to know where his friends are. So, here where is the main clause? Bunty wants to know. And subordinate clause or the noun clause, Bunty wants to know what? where his friends are. It's a noun clause and it is the object of the infinitive to know. The next function of noun clause as an adjective complement. Let us find out. The children were happy that Saturday was a holiday. The children were happy for what? That Saturday was a holiday. So, that Saturday was a holiday is noun clause and it is complement to the adjective happy. Complement means it completes the sense. So, complement to the adjective happy. The next function of noun clause as a complement of a verb of incomplete predication. Now let us see this example. Life is what we make it. Life is what? What we make it. So what we make it is complement to the verb is. That means life is here, after is it is incomplete. So you need some word or words to make a complete sense. So life is what we make it. Here the main clause is incomplete. So in order to complete the sense, this clause is used. So the function is complement of a verb of incomplete predication. With that, we come to the end of the functions of noun clause in apposition to a noun or a pronoun. Let us see how. The news that he is alive made us happy. Divide this two into two clauses. Where is the main clause? The news made us happy. What news made us happy? You ask question what for noun clause? That he is alive. So that he is alive is noun clause. What function it does? It functions in apposition to the noun news. In apposition means it provides more information about the noun news. So that again subordinate conjunction. So subordinating conjunction, what it does? It introduces the subordinate clause. So that he is alive is in apposition to a noun news in the main clause. So what have we studied, children? We have finished with the noun clause, types, functions, and we have also seen the examples. After this video, you will have a link and you have to click the link and submit your answers. That's all for today. Thank you.